So, guys, here we are, MMA UK News. Obviously, myself, Stoomboy, as always, MMA UK BJJ show. So, back talking about grappling, we're talking about Grapple Kings 7. Grapple Kings 7 is going to be... Now, Peter, you've probably heard some of these videos. I've been pronouncing this name very, very wrong in a few videos, but I believe it's Portlaoise. Portlaoise. It's going to be... Yeah, so Saturday, 2nd of April. Promised to be a great night. I mean, absolutely fantastic night of matchups. It's going to be Team Northern Ireland versus Team Southern Ireland. So we're obviously highlighting some of the best grapplers that we've got across the whole of Ireland. So as I said, it's an absolutely fantastic event. Obviously headlined by Owen Livesey and Santiri Elias going up against each other in the main event. So in this card, or ticket availability, should I say, go on to the Grapple Kings Facebook page. You'll be able to go directly to their ticket site. Tickets, I believe, at the moment today, they've got a St. Patrick's Day sale on where they're taking, I believe, €5 off the ticket prices. So tickets are normally 30 and 40 euros. So obviously going on today, you'll be able to get them for 25 or 35 euros. So there is some ticket availability still left. For those that can't make the event on the night, obviously Flow Grappling, get yourself on a Flow Grappling. Make sure you do get the event. This is going to be an absolutely fantastic event. Definitely one of the top events coming out of Ireland. So obviously on the card that night is going to be, as he said there, the killer, Peter Doyle.
That was Andy Ryan who typed that in now, not me. I don't call myself the killer. I blame Andy.
So yeah, Peter Doyle, Team Ryano. So Peter's going to be up against Ryan Greene. Obviously spoke to Ryan Greene last week. So yeah, listen, Peter, absolute pleasure to talk to you, buddy.
Same here. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it myself. I was on Grapple Kings before. It's a lovely theatre. It's a great setup and some brilliant talent on show that night for sure. And a local derby, basically, which makes it all the a
little bit more exciting.
A little bit more exciting, yeah.
Definitely. And I've been saying as well, I mean, obviously we spoke before we came on here. The great thing about this card that I like is what I like to call Mustangs. I've been calling anybody over a certain age in jiu-jitsu, we're like old cars, we're like old vintage cars, we're still here, we're still going. So I like to call us Mustangs. So there's a lot of Mustangs on show that night.
Oh, 100%, yeah. And, I suppose we like to show the young lads we still have what it takes.
Yes.
And, I think the whole thing is as long as you're matched well, it's going to be a good show,
Yeah. And there's a lot of really great matchups. I mean, obviously, Adrian and the guys at Grapple Kings, the matchups are all absolutely brilliant. I mean, there's no, you see some events where it's maybe, that this person's going to beat that person because it's very, very lopsided, where it's very, very evenly matched up, all the matchups on this card.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I actually find in Ireland in particular, most of the matchups in a lot of the shows we're all quite close to each other, to tell you the truth. And on any given day, anyone can beat anyone really at higher level. It's the standard in Ireland is like pretty high. Obviously the younger lads have took it to a new height, and those old boys are still going old school.
Yeah, listen, we're still here. So and that's the thing. I mean, we noticed that. Obviously, before lockdown, don't get me wrong, the level was very, very high before lockdown. But since, obviously, we had 18 months and then we came back, the level seems to have shot through the roof.
Oh, for sure. I suppose there was a lot of people training at home, Maybe doing solo drills, I'd imagine. Definitely not.
Yes.
Definitely not together.
But the level's so great. I mean, especially Ireland. Obviously, we know that the level coming out of Ireland as well. I mean, not just jiu-jitsu, but MMA, and this has been happening for years as well. It's not an overnight thing. I mean, this is something that you guys have worked on for a number of years to get to this level.
Yeah, I suppose the likes of Andy and John Kavanagh and the older guys were the ones that started it off, and it's each generation adds to and just back to lockdown. I know personally myself, when you couldn't train, you were studying a lot more technique, and I think that's what happened. People were BJJ fanatics and stuff like that, downloading and drilling stuff you probably wouldn't have done, like if if your gym was open and you were rolling. Yeah, so definitely me, myself, now that I'm teaching, I'm studying technique a lot more than I ever did, you know.
Yeah. That's the one good thing. BJJ Fanatics put on a lot of free material. Obviously, Bernardo Ferreira put on a lot of stuff, and there was a lot of other guys discounted videos and so on. So the availability of the material that was out there, apart from YouTube, you were able to go out and get a lot of free stuff and be able to work on it. And there was a lot of solo stuff as well, not just obviously with a partner, but obviously solo drills and so on as well.
Exactly, and you don't realize how hard them solo drills are until you try and do them.
Yeah.
You know, they're very taxing, and I must admit, that was a real positive. If there was one from COVID, was going back over stuff you've done, and you know, and studying it again, and having time to do it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. The BJJ community was really good during COVID. You know, even our coach Andy here, and posting and staying in contact with people, and you know, helping the young lads out, keeping them on track. You know. Yeah.
Definitely. And it helped us older guys as well, Peter, with maybe niggling injuries and stuff like that. I mean, we came back as close to 100% as possible.
Exactly, and renewed enthusiasm for, you know.
Yes,
that's what makes you want to compete again. You know, it's you realise time is short, and you know, you as much as I'd like to think I can do forever, I know I can't. So yeah.
And what about you then, training wise? So I mean, how's your training going now then? Now that obviously you've got obviously full availability to training partners and things like that.
Oh well, it's brilliant. Yeah, like down here in Ryano, you know, you have the highest level guys competing on all sorts of world levels. You've Andy's world level coach. You've guys that compete in the UFC. You know, you've guys in Polaris. You've a lot of guys here. You don't have to travel out of this gym like to get a hard time. That's for sure. You know. You know, it's a high quality and it's intense. You know.
Yeah. How about training for you then? Because it's interesting. Obviously, me, I'm 45 years old this year, so obviously training for me. I remember going back to when I first started, I would be training 5-6 days a week. But then obviously the older I got, and I started maybe putting it down to maybe rather than doing 5-6, I would go down to maybe 4 or 5, and then suddenly I'm down to like 3 days a week and so on. I mean, what does a typical week look like for you?
Well, I teach in my own class as well. I have my own school up in Drogheda. That's an associate of Team Ryano, sub-city up in Dunleer, you know, and I do teach classes 4 nights a week, and I roll with the students up there. But, you know, they're all young, they're all novices, you know. A few good ones up there, Josh McCrane and, you know, Jacob, and there's a girl up there, Anne-Marie, trains really hard, and my own Stephanie. You know, so then I come down to Andy's for a hard time. Like down here today now, I'm after having hard rounds with Paul Redmond, Bissett, and some of the really good guys, you know. And it makes me, you know, come back down here again. I'm going to be down here mainly for the rest of my camp for sure. You know? I try. I know the minimum is like you have to be training 5 times a week. I know that, you know that. But I haven't been. You know, so.
I'm the same. I mean, I remember being in, and I laugh as well because some of the young guys say, "Oh, you only come in 3 days a week. It's because you're old and stuff like that." You're like, listen, do you know what I mean? I like coming up through like white belt, blue belts and stuff like that. I mean, we put in so much hours on the mat at that point, and then that was when I was out competing a lot and so on, and I was like, man, you kids don't know how good you've got it. I mean, most of these guys were in their early 20s and they're walking about with knee injuries and stuff like that. I'm like, wait till you're 45 years old. But we got a good laugh with them.
Oh, I do be laughing my head off because I had to be up at 5:30 to go to work, you know, paint and decorate. I have to go to work. I have kids, married, you know. And these young lads, it's hard to get them to train up in my club. And anyway, you know, 3 times a week, and they think they're training. And, you know, yes, they don't know what it takes. But down here in Andy's, like, the lads are training twice a day, days a week, you know. And it's unforgiving. Only if you want to compete. This is a friendly club if you want to drop in and have a bit of fun. But the day you say you want to compete, you know, you better put the hours in. And like, you're only kidding yourself if you're not, you know.
And then you mentioned obviously previously, and you'd been on Grapple Kings previously. So how did you find out then, Peter, that you were going to be on this one?
Well, you know, I sort of looked to get on it. I contacted like Andy Chapman and Kieran Davru. I'm worse at pronouncing names than you are. And yeah, back to me, and that's basically yeah. I look to get on it, to tell you the truth, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the atmosphere? Because obviously, again, this is the first time that I'm going to be over. I'm going to be coming over for the event. So, obviously, watching previous events and so on, and the atmosphere looked unbelievable. I mean, especially walking down through the crowd must be absolutely brilliant.
It's brilliant, yeah. You have the smoke and all going. You get the music on, yeah. Yeah, it's the closest thing to being famous for a couple of seconds as you're going to get when you get to Ireland.
But it just looks like, I mean, the Irish crowd as well. I mean, obviously we know how knowledgeable the Irish crowd is. I'd say not just jiu-jitsu or grappling or whatever, MMA and so on. So their fighting knowledge in Ireland is unbelievable.
Yeah, well, you know, it is. It's I think the Irish are like born fighters, basically, you know, and since this new skill has come to Ireland, like with the likes of Andy, it's just taken off, you know, and he sort of just adopted it now, you know. My colours, the Brazilians of Europe.
Definitely. And then what about you this year then? So obviously 2022 is going to be our first full year for the last 2 years. So hopefully, fingers crossed, obviously everything stays as it is at the moment. But I mean, what's 2022 going to look for you, Peter?
Well, for me personally, I'm looking to get a win here on Grapple Kings and get back training hard myself. And maybe my ambition is to compete in the Euros again, you know, the end of the year, and the Irish Open, and really push the young lads on and get them competing. That's it. Compete as much as I can this year. That's honestly, that's what it is, you know.
Yeah. The Euros is brilliant. I mean, obviously, we love the Euros. The Euros is absolutely fantastic. Whether it be the gi or no gi Euros. I mean, what about you now then? Do you prefer no gi over gi now, or are you happy to do both?
Well, I say it's like kids, you know, you can't pick one you love more than the other. You think you do on certain days, you know. I love both, to tell you the truth. Down here, like in Andy's, we've always done both, and some judo and wrestling. It's a real mixed martial arts gym, you know. But obviously, if you want to be an expert, you'd have to. It depends. If I was going to Euros, I'd constantly train in the gi, you know. And then if I was going to do the no gi, I'd constantly train no gi. You know, you just pick your poison, isn't it? You know.
Yeah. I would say because I'm an old man. I love the gi because I can slow the game down and bring it down to my pace. Whereas obviously no gi, a little bit faster, and there's a little bit more movement in it as well. So gi, I love the gi. I love that. Obviously, I came up starting through the gi. I very rarely trained no gi, even though obviously no gi is now becoming more fashionable. It's the big thing at the moment. But I mean, you've been around the game as a long time, so you kind of see it. No gi's fashionable this time, and then maybe in a couple of years the gi will be fashionable, and so on and so on. So it chops and changes all the time.
Oh, 100%. And they're like, wrestling became really fashionable here now. You know, just straight out wrestling, and it's whatever's in fashion, isn't it? Like you, I love the gi. You know, you can take rests in the gi, for want of a better thing. You know, you can slow it down. You know, you can afford to take maybe a few more risks. Where no gi is like, you ain't holding anyone down for longer than 30 seconds. So it's a constant battle, you know. Now that you're talking to me, I'm sorry I done it. I'm talking
And then, so as I mentioned, I'm going to be there, obviously, on the 2nd as well. So I'm going to pop over. As it's the first time over in Ireland. So looking forward to, obviously, I'm big friends with Owen Livesey, obviously the judo killer at the moment. So he's throwing everybody about. So I thought, do you know what? Why not? I spoke to Adrian. Adrian said, look, let's do some stuff. Obviously, interviews and so on. So I'm more than happy. So absolutely buzzing to come over and see you guys, obviously, put a show on.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be great. Yeah, like you should definitely drop into Team Ryano here. You'll be more than welcome. Like Andy's a big judo guy. That was him first, you know. So he's more judo based than probably anyone here, you know. So you'll be welcome in here too. No bother. And looking forward to seeing you as well. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. And then final thing for you then, Peter. Obviously, you've been in the game for a good while. All right. Yeah. So, but anybody you want to shout out to? So, any kind of friends, family members, teammates, anything like that.
Well, first of all, yeah. Well, I'd want to shout out to Stefan, the 360 clinic, who helped me with my injuries. I've had, as you said, a lot of injuries, and if it wasn't for that 360 clinic, I wouldn't be training. But then, of course, shout out to Andy Ryan. You know, my coach from white to black belt. He's been I suppose everything I've learned just being in this gym, and just shout out to my students up at Sub City, and you know, hopefully by seeing a high level show like this, they'll realise how hard you have to work to get onto it, and it's not an excuse being tired. If an old man like me and you can still come and do it with all our commitments, you know. That's basically it, you know. And obviously shout out to Grapple Kings for having me on. I appreciate it.
And that's one thing as well. We always talk to people, and I mean, anybody in the gym. So obviously you talked about your own gym. You're opening doors for these people to come in, and that's a great thing. I mean, that's what we all do. I mean, whenever I go out and compete, I'm opening doors for someone else to come behind me, and so on and so on. And as you say, these people in the gym might see you on the show and go, do you know what? We want on that show as well, which that's what we want. We want to keep these people coming in and into the game.
Exactly. And, you know, you remember when you were a white belt and you never thought you'd be black. And then you wake up one day and you're a black belt, and 10, 15 years has flown by in your life. So you just want these young lads to know it's not 100 miles away. If you train hard enough, you know, you're going to be here. So you have to put the time in. No one's just going to put you on a stage. You have to earn that right. You know, you have to earn it like we all did, you know. And that's basically
Definitely. So there you go, guys. Peter Doyle, Team Ryano. So going to be up against Ryan Greene. That's Saturday, 2nd of April. That's Grapple Kings 7. So in Portlaoise. I mean, he keeps saying that, Portlaoise. So yeah, make sure you get your tickets directly through the Grapple Kings Facebook page. If you can't make the event, then get on to Flow Grappling. This is going to be an unbelievable night of matchups. The lineup, as I said, I posted a part lineup, and it keeps every day. There's another great match being added to it. So yeah, listen, I'm buzzing to be there in attendance on the evening. So yeah, Peter, listen.
Can I say one last thing? A shout out Bear Fields and Drogheda. They do all this healthy food, and I love it.
Nice.
I love the burrito bowl. I don't know how healthy it is, but it's lovely.
Nice one. Well, listen, Peter, thank you very much again for obviously taking the time out. Obviously, enjoy the rest of your training.
Same to you. Thanks very much. I appreciate it.
And I'll see you next month, brother. Okay.
Right, bye. Thank you. Bye.